Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome around the globe. Kangen Water Radio featuring the Kangen Water Health and Information International Call. I am happy to welcome you all here today. On this call, we consider, clarify, and often correct the conventional wisdom around Kangen water technology, the different machines, the science behind water types, uses, and benefits, the testing process, the maintenance and cleaning of the machines, and much, much more. We also explore a plethora of other topics as we teach, promote, and discuss the three-pronged approach to health and wellness: hydration, detoxification, and complete macro and micro nutrition. I'm family physician, Dr. Lisa Battle Spingletary, your virtual keto coach, and I will be joined by my co-host and fearless leader, Mr. Terrence Hope, Enagic 6A distributor extraordinaire, and together we bring you the best of both worlds. Well, this is call number 412. I can hardly believe it. 412 little chunks of goodness we've been putting out to the world. And today, a cautionary tale, maybe we could say. We are going to talk about compliance. Now, let's see. I'm just a little bit distracted by my view somehow. Let's see, maybe I will not cut off my head. How about that? A little bit better. Okay, so compliance. What do I mean by that? Well, have you noticed, and when I say you, I think I'm really speaking of anyone who's in a network marketing or direct sales business that is selling a product or marketing a product that we believe will help our friends or family, or the world. And there, have you noticed? There's always been the dance that we do with the FTC. And when I say dance, there are regulations to protect consumers, and we're all for consumer protection. We don't want the bad people out there marketing, doing bad marketing practices at all. But I would say ever since 2020, the FDA had been stepping up its game. It's been sending letters to companies and really being much, much more vigilant. At least it seems so on this end, as someone in a network marketing company. And our company actually got a letter from the FTC because with our immune support products, the company used the term flatten the curve. And that was one of the first, that was like the first 6 months of this last crisis, that was the rallying cry of the entire healthcare industry, was to flatten the curve. And everything we were doing was to flatten the curve. So we want to help flatten the curve too, right? And they didn't like that. And we always talk about, or we always want to protect ourselves from making claims, or guard against. There it is. We always want to guard against making claims. We always want to guard against making claims, whether they're income claims or product if outcome claims, results claims, time freedom claims, even no claims, right? And so the company, not just our company, but many companies in across the board, went into a heightened mode of education of the field about compliance. What can we say? What can we not say? And what will the FTC do as a result of saying those things? So I actually had another topic for today planned, but I read an article that came out on the 28th. And this is on the heels of some decisions the FTC has been making just in the last couple of months that are ratcheting up the game again. And I dug into the article a little bit, and I just, we talk about the research, we talk about the science. And so I want to share with you some of the science. But also, hopefully you'll understand, number one, why I was so impressed upon this topic that I even, changed my regular content. But also, I hope you hear this, and if need be, take action and really watch the words that you use, and even the photographs that you use when trying to share whatever product you have to share. Okay, so why don't we start with the article that I saw. Let's see. Oh, I gotta share. All right. I think we can find it here. Okay, hopefully you can see my screen. Give me a nod. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Juanita. And there it is. So Medical News Today, I would say that's the number 3 site that I use. The number 1 site, or number 1 and number 2, are Healthline and PubMed.gov. And but Medline Today lately, Medical News Today lately has been having some really good articles. So when I saw this come across the news, my scan of the news, I really had to stop and take a look. So 1 in 3 articles on social media contain harmful misinformation. I'm sorry, 1 in 3 cancer articles. Did I say that? 1 in 3 cancer articles on social media contain harmful misinformation. And of course, having been in the allopathic world and now being in the naturopathic world, the holistic world, I mean, I was always in, you know what I mean? I have an idea of what the slant of this research is going to be, but I said, let me dig a little deep. And, I love seeing, I always look for an article that is fact-checked. So this article was fact-checked by Alexandra, and it was just published on the 28th of July. So this is fresh. All right. So the bullets. The study investigated the accuracy of cancer treatment information on social media and its potential for harm. The research suggests 1/3 of cancer articles contain misinformation, while most of these, so of the misinformation articles, most of these are saying contain harmful information. The researchers hope their findings will aid development of tools and behavioral interventions. Don't we have enough interventions to counter cancer misinformation online? So, do I want cancer misinformation online? No. But like I said, I know that I suspected the slant. So let's just read the article, and I want to show you the research. So according to a recent survey by the Pew Research Center, 72% of adults in the United States use social media. Another survey suggests that 73% of people in the US obtain health-related information from the internet. Okay, so if you have a newspaper subscription, it's probably piling up, right? Or you're using it for your bird cages or something. We are not paper driven as far as our information. So research also shows that false news is more shareable than news that is fact checked, especially for social media. A study of social media, so we like review studies. So I'm hoping this study was a review study so that it would include data from many different places, right? So a study of social media claims about drugs and dietary supplements circulated on WhatsApp found 86.4% of them were either false or potentially misleading, with claims about the latter being most shared. Okay, so I'm digging in. I want to see, what is this study? So I clicked on the word study, and here comes the article. Now, I didn't pay the $39.95 for the full article, but I did look at the abstract. So is this study showing, Juanita? Is it still showing? Thank you. Okay. So drug information, and this was published in May of 2018. So it's not the freshest article, but we're getting spoiled because of the internet. Drug information, misinformation, and disinformation on social media, a content analysis study. Here's the abstract. Dissemination of misleading drug information through social media. So they're not talking about cancer, right? So the headline was about cancer information, but this is just misleading drug information through social media can be detrimental to the health of the public. Fair enough. This study carried out in Bahrain. I don't know the internet usage patterns in Bahrain. We could look them up. Evaluated the truthfulness of 22 social media claims about drugs and dietary supplements and toxic bisphenol A. 22. When we look at studies, right? Now, again, I don't have the whole paper, so there may be some really good science in there that I'm not privy to. But for 22 claims to be studied, and for them to come up with this, huge statistical conclusion, that worries me a bit. Why? Okay, so let's put that number 22 in context. They tried to put it in context a little bit in the prior article by saying how many people actually use social media. Well, I thought maybe I should find out how many people actually use social media. So I went to a site and I found some Facebook demographics. And this particular site gives Facebook statistics, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, Snapchat. So they don't have WhatsApp, which is where those 22 claims were studied in that one article in Bahrain, from Bahrain. But Facebook has 2.74 billion monthly active users. The total number of Facebook's mobile active users is 2.68 billion with a B. 69% of all adults in the US are using Facebook. But just look at the usage. 1.82 billion people on average log into Facebook daily. Now, some of y'all are doing it even more, because I honestly don't get on Facebook daily. So somebody's got to be doing twice a day to balance me out. Facebook users spend 58 minutes per day on Facebook. I mean, Facebook usually racks up more than 100 million total app downloads on a monthly basis. 500 million users use Facebook stories daily. I mean, these numbers are huge, millions and billions. But that study talked about 22. So again, I couldn't go into the details of the study because I wasn't willing to pay $40 for the whole thing. But that number, 22, just doesn't seem rigorous enough to have conclusions that cause the writers of this article to want, here we go, I can't find it right now. But what the writers of this article were hoping for is intervention. Here we go. It's our hope that this information, including the 22 claims that were studied, could be used to help inform future social media health policies surrounding health information on social media, and the need to amplify high quality, accurate, and safe information. So who is going to create this social media health policy? That's the question. And who's going to determine? Hopefully they'll determine it based on more than just 22 WhatsApp claims in the study. But this article, 1 in 3 cancer articles on social media contain harmful misinformation. The studies that based on that study, I would be very hesitant to accept that data just on that, on that face value, because digging behind the data, not so impressed by the rigor. But someone will be impressed by those numbers, 80% and this percent. But 80% of 22 is what, 16-ish? I don't know. So I hope that article is not prominent in determining the policy. So what is the current policy? And let me tell you, I listened to a talk on a network marketing leadership show last week, and they had this gentleman, Kevin Grimes, on here. And Kevin Grimes is a lawyer, but he's an expert in the FTC and network marketing compliance issues. And he's writing this series, and I found this article that they referred to in the conference, okay? The Thermonuclear Scorched Earth Mother of All Best Practices series, Lessons in Missing the Point. The network marketing or the MLM industry is now expressly targeted by the FTC. Get that, expressly targeted. We've always been targeted, but now we're expressly targeted for deceptive income and product claims by Kevin Grimes. In October 2020, FTC Commissioner Rohit Chopra and now acting director of the Bureau of Consumer Protection, Samuel Levine, authored an article in the University of Pennsylvania Law Review entitled "The Case for Resurrecting the FTC Act's Penalty Offense Authority, hereinafter the case for resurrecting." Seems that the article escaped the attention of the MLM industry, but last week, all right, so this article, I don't have the date on this article right in front of me, but it's it's less than a month old. Last week, oh, here we go, on July 1st. Okay, so within just earlier this month. The Penalty Offense Authority was resurrected and became a reality. On July 1st, 2021, the FTC issued a press release entitled "FTC Votes to Update Rulemaking Procedures, Sets Stage for Stronger Deterrence of Corporate Misconduct. New rules will unlock civil penalties and damages for violators." So remember, I said what the FTC had been doing is giving warning letters. Generally, that's what they did, but very, very rarely did someone incur damages or have to change their, change their or shut down their corporation or whatnot. They brought Herbalife, right? Got a big, there was a big brouhaha. And then Herbalife changed their model and they said, they're going strong today. But now the FTC is stepping up their game, and this says that the rules to help honest businesses comply with the law and better protect consumers and workers against bad actors. They will also lead to substantial market-wide deterrence due to significant civil penalties for rule breakers. And so what do market-wide deterrence and civil penalties mean? The answer is this new act, the Penalty Offense Authority. And I'm going to include this article in our replay. So you can, and I encourage you to read it because, for instance, you'll see little details about such person, partnership, or corporation. So they consider, the FTC considers an individual distributor having the same obligation as a corporation, and shall each or such person, partnership, or corporation shall be liable for a civil penalty of not more than $10,000 for each violation. This article is, and it goes back into the history, back to 1975, when this was first used, and then they decided, oh, we're wasting a lot of time going after these small corporations, these small businesses, but they've decided, and I understand that many people came out of the woodwork during the pandemic, and many people, I mean, the rhetoric that you hear just on on ads on TV, you know, and there was a question in a previous call, a previous training call that, or maybe it was on, yeah, it was on that Facebook call that I'm also adding the link to that Facebook conversation in the call resources. But someone says, well, why can XYZ Corporation say these things and we can't? But you know, stand by. But this is what they do. They do the disclaimers, right? At the end of the ad, the small print, and they do the disclaimer. And that's why you hear me say every once in a while, disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. We make no product claims. We do not diagnose. We do not cure, heal, prevent any diseases. And one strategy that would be really good is if you never use disease names. And I have to say, I probably slip up now and then, because I studied diseases pretty extensively. But what I try to say is that we nourish and support this particular body system or this particular body organ, or that with the three-pronged approach, we hydrate, we detoxify, and we nourish, we give nutrition. But we don't say a list of diseases. Now, that's why we really rely on scientific articles, but it's a two-edged sword because sometimes those articles don't portray to me the best science. So I'm really careful in the articles that I choose, the resources that I give you. But we also have to be careful just in our day-to-day conversations, not to give people quote unquote false hope. I think I'll stop there. And I hope you got some value from seeing this information, and I hope you will dig into the resources because they are there. I understand the FTC wants to protect the consumer, but I know we want to help, and we have some powerful weapons in our arsenal that are not recognized by the mainstream. So we have to be very, very cautious in how we present the possibilities of our technologies to the public. Fortunately, we have an amazing presenter for our technologies, particularly Kangen water technology, Mr. Terrence Hope, Enagic 6A distributor extraordinaire, vigilant, consistent, persistent health advocate to the stars and to the globe. Mr. Hope, are you with us today, sir?
Mademoiselle, somewhere in the great beyond, I sit wondering and listening and very much enjoying your content today. You know, I enjoy the fact that sometimes we can be a bit spontaneous and not necessarily, you know, have something, you know, scheduled. And of course, I'm always amazed at the subject matter that you bring on every occasion, and then delighted to make my comments to them and to speak on behalf of Kangen Water as well, and be thorough in all kind of matters as we talk about Kangen Water, health, hydration, nutrition, and detoxification. Your subject matter today is marvelous, and it reminds me of a time in the Bible when Jesus Christ was being questioned, and the question of truth came up. And I believe it was not Herod, but it was the governor that was presiding over his trial as to what to do with Jesus. And one of the questions he says was, well, what is truth? You know, And Jesus said nothing. Of course, he already knew the answer, Um, and that's when he wanted to free Jesus, because like, this guy doesn't do anything wrong. What am I doing here? But who has the power of the communication? Who has the power of information? Who has the authority to say what is right and what is wrong? Who can look at a blue moon and tell me that it's red, right? And the king you see is all together. He's all together, and all together. He's all together as naked as the day that he was born. Says Hans Christian Andersen. But to the designers who were making his clothing, he had the most beautiful colors and the greatest blues, and that only the most intelligent people could see that this was correct and that this was a beautiful outfit he was wearing. And everyone in town wanted to say, oh yes, the king you see is wearing the most beautiful clothes in all the land. And the king, not wanting to seem not to be intelligent, said, oh yes, I see the colors, they're wonderful. And meanwhile, these guys were selling him absolute nothing, absolute air. And the man walked out in the middle of his kingdom, stark naked. The king you see is altogether as naked as the day he was born. So who says what is real? Now, when it comes to health information, we talked about the Flexner report once upon a time. And we mentioned that there was a change in the curriculum in medical schools at the beginning of the 20th century, around 1910 or so, which shifted what students of medicine would get to learn. Since that point, students of medicine were void of their information regarding nutrition, regarding herbal approaches, regarding detoxification. And how many times have I heard doctors say they've been in a situation where someone in their family or one of their friends or even themselves have gotten into a dire health crisis, and they have not been able to help that person. This is no longer a patient that's coming in who's more a stranger to something you want to do because this is your close, passionate friend or associate, and you can't. And why can't you? Because you weren't taught the basic tools. So what is truth? What is health? What is functional? Your article talked about the thousands of misinformation items that are on social media. But when you actually go to look at the actual details of it, you found that the article they're referencing is not even during 2021 and 2020, but goes back as far as 2018. And it's not a study on Facebook, but a study on WhatsApp. And it's not a study in across the board around the world, but in one particular country. I believe that was Bahrain, yeah?
Bahrain, yeah.
And I've been on WhatsApp looking at chatter going on in Nigeria. There's a whole lot of information there that's not accurate, but who really takes that seriously to some degree, So to go from the whole world is being deceived, I can show you right here in Bahrain from 22 people. So the ability to use shock value, what's that other word? Sound bites. Mm-hmm. The average person doesn't have time to decipher information. Right. You are a student of information, Dr. Singletary. You are a master of science information, and you are of the nature to study, to research, and you've got the time to do that. The average person out here, let's say they've got 4 children, the wife and the husband, they've got their jobs, they have all kind of activities that keep them entirely busy. When they get home, they've got that much time to absorb information. And whatever they see on the soundbite is what they take in. And unfortunately, those who are ready to deceive at times are okay with giving a soundbite for the news that can only be construed maybe one way. It's its own form of manipulation. So what is truth? And you mentioned the articles that oftentimes, I try to pull up a lot of science references that are available in terms of clinical trials that have been done using natural methods. And there's a plethora of them available with their results shown, also reviewed and shown to be accurate. But it never ends up in the hands of the medical professionals that can really take use of it. So what is chosen to be used for medical health approaches may not necessarily always be those things that are most beneficial. And those things that are beneficial may be left on the wayside. I mean, I can look at the commercials that go on every day with these new medications. And when I was a kid, medications weren't advertised, but now they are. And they ask your doctor if they're right for you. And they tell you a story about how it's supposed to help you with one issue. And you see a family frolicking through the trees and at a picnic and dancing and smiling, and everybody looks completely healthy. Nobody looks like they've got the condition you're talking about, on the in the article. And then you say, well, this can help your condition, whatever that might be. And then there's if you use this product, it can cause kidney failure, pancreatic cancer, breathing problems, which can lead to death. And you say this openly, and you're telling us that your product can kill a person.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow you got allowed to market this, to put it and to give it to people. Cigarette smoking is also known to be deadly. They allow people to do that. Certain drugs are supposed to be so deadly that they're illegal. But yet your prescription medication, which is approved by our FDA, is advertised. And what happens? People take it and they die. And you say, well, we told you so. Therefore there's no liability. But all these other things out here that have shown to be really efficacious are somehow blacklisted, and we never get to, really hear the full true story about it. So, I'm really glad you brought all this up, because it really speaks to what is truth and who controls it. We're here on the Kangen Water Health and Information Call, and
It was Pontius Pilate, by the way.
Yeah, thank you, Pontius Pilate. Yeah, we're here on the Kangen Water Health and Information Call, and we are glad to share with you information that is good for your review, to consider the benefits that you might receive from it. Here, of course, we talk about the Kangen water, and where's my? Is mine? Good enough. Here we talk about Kangen water to let you know exactly what it is, to understand the science behind it, and how to use it. Many people have purchased Kangen water machines worldwide, from New York, London, Paris, Munich, but not always understood exactly how to use it. So we want to make sure you do. And I'll share a couple of points on that. If you have got questions, just raise your hand towards the end, and I'll be happy to answer those questions for you. So I begin for this moment at the beginning. So what is Kangen water? Yeah, Kangen water is it's known as it's in science, it's known as electrolyzed reduced water. Yes, it has various properties to it, various molecular structures that are said to allow for an antioxidant effect when you drink this kind of water. So we got a Kangen water. It's an electrolyzed reduced water. One of the elements available in it is something known as molecular hydrogen. This is a sample of one of our Kangen water machines. This is known as the SD501. These machines produce 7 different types of water for hydrating, for detoxing, for sanitizing surfaces. It's a whole household use that you can take advantage of when you have these machines. This is one of our machines known as the Kangen 8 or the K8 machine. It has 8 plates on its electrical circuit. This is our SD501 Platinum, the same as our original SD501, just has a different color and a metallic shell. Some people like this one because they like to decorate their kitchen with it. If they've got a stainless steel kitchen and they've got wood appliances and like to have it all match up, they like the SD501 Platinum. Change your water, change your life is the motto of our company. Kangen Water Company is known as Enagic. Kangen water is a water where electricity comes in direct contact with water. So in my illustration, water, kapow, is gonna be hit by electricity. Here's our H2O molecule. And we're gonna hit that with water, clow, and that's gonna cause a restructuring of the water molecule. Here's your H2O, divided now into OH negative and H plus. And the OH negative is being used as a measuring tool of the overall volume of antioxidant ions available in the water at a time. So this is an alkaline molecule we're using, which is how the water also came to be known as alkaline water. But we're not alkalizing your body. This Kangen water, as an electrolyte reduced water, detoxes your body. Yeah. So on two, buckle my shoe. So just a whole illustration of what's occurring. We're hitting water with electricity. That electricity is causing the water to break down into its elements of OH negative and H plus. This OH is a alkaline molecule known as hydroxide ion, and it restructures with water remaining in the machine. As well, it is useful for us as a measurement of the overall antioxidant level of ions in the water at a time. This little device here is called an ORP meter, otherwise known as an oxidative reduction potential meter. ORP meter will measure the charge of a water in millivolts, whether it's negatively charged or positively charged. This is a meter screen here showing up number 500. And if there's no negative number next to it, it lets us know this is a positive number. If there's a little negative number next to it, it lets us know it's a negative number. And the greater the negative number on the ORP device, the stronger the antioxidant effect on the water we're drinking. This is an ORP scale, letting us see various things that might be on the scale. We're looking at things that can be antioxidant. We're looking at things that could be oxidizing. The bigger the negative number, the greater the antioxidant effect. The larger the positive number, the greater oxidizing the effect is of the substance that you're taking in. Kangen water is here and noted as a negative charge water, whose ORP can go as, we say high, but you might say low, in a negative number as 800. The higher the negative number, the stronger the antioxidant effect. So we see that Kangen is in the negative charge range, and something as toxic as soda, carbonated beverages, is in the positive range. We want to be on the negative side when it comes to antioxidant effects. And that's what the Kangen water provides for us. You can also see that things like green tea and vitamin C are shown to be on the negative side for their ability to have an antioxidant effect within the body. Electrolysis is the process where electricity hits water, producing the negative charge of the water and its antioxidant effect. This is an illustration of what that looks like inside the machine. There's a pH scale that goes from 0 to 14. This scale here is giving you a color code of what that scale is. 0 will be on this side of the spectrum, then 14 on the side of the spectrum. The pH that's being shown in colors it can be listed as a 2.5, 5.0 to 6.0, 7.0, 8.5, 9.0, 9.5. On our machines, the Kangen water is showing a pH of 8.5 to 9.5 because of the presence of the alkaline molecules known as hydroxide ion. Once again, we're not alkalizing the body. It is a measurement of the overall antioxidant ions available within the water at a time. So when we say alkalinity in our electrolyzed water, we're looking at the pH because it's telling us 8.5, 9.0, 9.5 is a mild, mid-range, or high detox level because of the negative charge ions available within the water. Yeah. So your body is self-healing. If you give it what it needs, it takes care of itself. I always give this illustration of the animals in the wild because we might notice they don't suffer from the same type of chronic illnesses that humans do. While the humans are running to dialysis centers and suffering from a variety of different health issues, we might note as well that the animals in the wild don't seem to have the same issues. We see the deer, the antelope, the foxes, the squirrels, the badgers, the rabbits. It's amazing I know the names of all these woodland creatures, you know, but when you look at the deer, there's zero issues of obesity, the same with all the other species. No kidney failure, no high blood pressure, no, they don't even go to doctors. What is one of the differences we can easily see between the animal kingdom and the humans is that, we as humans taken a lot of really, junky foods, things that are not healthy for us. And because of that, we run the risk of, many different types of health problems. There are issues that can amount from taking in things that are not really food. This doesn't give any brand names, but I'm gonna call this McDonald's just because, processed foods make up to 70% of the US diet. Americans spend 10% of their disposable income on fast food. I'm gonna say they spend 50%. The average American consumes 130 pounds of sugar per year. I'll probably say it's more than that because sugar is in everything we have. Soda, juices sometimes, particularly not the juice drinks. Many of the foods, there's sugar in everything. I would say you're consuming a lot more than that. So there's a lot of health issues because of the kind of foods we're intaking. These are substances that are really not oftentimes food. We don't know what they're made of sometimes. For goodness sake, where is soda on the food chain? 1.9 billion servings of Coca-Cola products each day. Where is Coca-Cola on the food pyramid for our nutrition purposes? I don't think it's there. So we've taken a lot of things that are not truly beneficial. And, for that reason, we have to get back to what is best and what do the animals in the wild ingest? Produce and protein, right? Produce and protein and whatever water is available. That's what our body is designed to take in. We drink juice, sure, but that's what produce squeezed down into juice, right? So some of the basics we need to remember. The body is self-healing. We're very much aware of that from the surface of the skin down to the depths of the bones. If we get a scratch or a cut in the hand or finger, we put a Band-Aid on it, wait a few days, look, see how it's healed. Hope it doesn't scar. If there's a fracture that goes deep into a bone or a break that's fully manifested in the bone, we put a cast on to keep our legs still or whatever bone has been damaged, so that as it heals itself, it heals evenly. So we're aware of the self-healing ability on the surface of the skin, at the depths of the bones, but not so much aware that the body is self-healing right down to the cellular level. Give the proper nutrition, hydration, detoxification, and look to see what your body can do for you and health benefits. Yeah. So just a couple of notes on the Kangen water. So we have basic knowledge of what it is and how it's working. And I'm way open to any questions that anyone might have going forward. Dr. Singletary.
Well, I looked up sugar consumption, and I have a document from 2014. So that's still an old, that's an old number, but they estimate 150, where is it? Yeah, 152 pounds. It said in 200 years ago, the average American ate only 2 pounds of sugar a year. In 1970, we ate 123 pounds of sugar per year. Today, this is 2014, or whenever they got those numbers from.
Right.
So maybe even 10 years ago. The average American consumes almost 152 pounds of sugar in 1 year. So this equals 3 pounds or 6 cups of sugar consumed in 1 week.
Sounds about right. Well, still sounds thin to me, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more. And yeah. I think 2020 probably is going to show a blip in that number as well.
As people try to take in comfort food to get through whatever, and people being at home all the time, what they're consuming all day long. I heard stories of people gaining a lot of weight.
Exactly.
From being home all the time and just being consumers all day long. So do we have any questions from the gallery?
We do indeed. Juanita has her hand up. So Miss Juanita, unmute yourself.
There
There
we
you
go.
go.
I'm all good. And Margie just called, so I've got multitasking here. And give me just a minute. I'm going to turn off the air conditioner because the noise. Okay, Dr. Lisa, I have been a very good student. I've had several distractions behind me with my caregivers in emptying out my refrigerator of anything that is poison to me. And she made me this beautiful. This was a combination of all three caregivers. It's our prawns from the beautiful Alaska, not shrimp, these are prawns. We've got these really cool mushrooms, zucchinis. We've got gluten-free noodles, fettuccine. I don't know where we found these. I think grocery outlet bargain market. We've got
I've told people this is the best time ever in life to be on a gluten-free journey. I mean, how many years ago? I don't know. I don't know when all of the food supply really changed, but before the GMO, before the the Roundup, the all of the fertilizers and stuff, you could pretty much eat anything that grew out of the ground. But these the gluten is such a problem, and to have the ability to find, even if you have to go to a specialty store, but the fact that they make them, they have gluten-free noodles, and they're some, when you go on this gluten-free lifestyle, or when you go on a low carb lifestyle, or even the keto lifestyle, sometimes people are like, I really miss, the noodles. Like, I'll make the stew, or I'll make the sauce, but I really want the noodles, and they're available now, and that's amazing. I mean, there have been hardcore, I call them hardcore people, that made their own, the fathead doughs and the different things. But just to be able to walk into a store and get some, or even if you order them on the internet, to be able to get some is really nice. Now, people also find that once you get low carb, or once you really start focusing on, as Mr. Hope said, proteins and produce,
right.
that craving gets less and less. And so you could almost, I look at my journey as almost in phases. Like, I had they make keto breakfast cereals now. So I tried some, and they were pretty good. They're not, they have a different texture, right? It's not wheat based. But if you really, really want something to crunch on, in some milk, then it's there. And so I had a little season of my journey where I used to get the keto breakfast cereals, but I don't even order them anymore. I don't, I found one store that had them on the shelf, but prior to that, I was ordering them on the internet. But it's not even a thought anymore. So, your journey changes, but just the fact that there's so much available is a real blessing, I think. So you're triply blessed, Juanita, because you live where you live, and the soil is so rich where you live. So that you have so many nutrients available to you. And then to have help that will listen to you and advocate for you, and as they prepare food for you. That's wonderful.
And she was just right here. She'll be right back. This is Lucina. And Lucina's my sister-in-law.
Juanita, you're a bit far from your microphone. Maybe we can come a little closer.
Okay, thank you. Is that better?
It is, actually.
Thank you, Mr. Hober. Anyway, this was a combination. This is Lucina right here in the background. Lucina, can you hear, please? And
Thanks for
she's,
taking care of Juanita.
she's helping me clean out the refrigerator right now. And this dish was made by all three of my caregivers. So one of them prepared the veggies, cleaned everything in Kangen water, right? And chopped them up. And the other ones, they didn't know, both of them didn't know how to use prawns because they don't eat meat. So it took Christina to finish up the prawns and little hot peppers, but beautiful dish. And I agree. First, hang on, somebody's trying to get me. So Bahrain, is that how we pronounce it?
Bahrain.
Bahrain is officially the kingdom of Bahrain in the country is a country in the Persian Gulf. So there we go. There's the answer to that. I have a question. Christina and I were talking, Dr. Lisa, about getting more wheatgrass. And she suggested, I said, can we buy it like at the farmer's market? And she says she orders it online for her and her husband, and they're newlyweds, right? Pretty. And she's coming from an entire gluten-free diet because her body needed it 5-6 years ago. She discovered she couldn't do any of that. But her husband that she married still enjoys some of the things that we were grown with, you know, pizzas and stuff. So they're using their love for one another in the Lord, number one. She doesn't nag him about eating properly, you know, and he doesn't tease her about being gluten-free. So it's a real blend, a great harmony, and I'm learning a lot from the two. I tell them every week how much I respect their love for the Lord, as well as their love for one another. So it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I'm distracted because Margie's trying to get on, but she says, I can't understand her. Please send a link. Oh, please send. She can wait. I'm back to school. Okay. So where would you, Dr. Lisa, get wheatgrass from if you lived here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
You guys need to take a field trip. I see Adrian on right now. Adrian's in Watsonville, California. And we know that Adrian at the age of 8 was a victim of that cancer, the little growth he's got above his eye. Hang on, there's Margie. That would be Adrian. He's in Watsonville, California. I see Willard on the line as well. He's in Chicago. Now, hey, Lucina, excuse me.
So besides wondering where to buy wheatgrass, did you have a question?
Right.
Other than that?
Can you please, one of you said never use the name of the disease. It was you, Doctor. And I don't. I don't tell people that I have this or that they have that, whether the doctor put it on a piece of paper or not. So did I understand that correctly? Never use the name of the disease.
That was, yes, I said that was a good strategy. So if someone says to me, how can I help my diabetes? I would say, well, to nourish and support your blood sugar system, you know, hydrate, detoxify, and nutrify. If they said, well, you know, my mother did have multiple sclerosis. What can I do? That I don't say, well, multiple sclerosis is blah, 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 so do this. I say to nourish and support your nervous system. And we talked about nerves in particular last time, and I gave some foods, right, that nourish and support the myelin sheath, or that nourish and support brain tissue. So hopefully, you know, I mean, that has been a good strategy up to this point. Now, I don't know where the FTC or the FDA will draw the line. You know, they're scooching the line back closer and closer and closer. But I have been served well by divorcing the solution from the names of these problems, the solution that I might have to offer. And actually, I don't even say it's a solution for their problem. I just say it nourishes and supports their joints, or nourishes and supports their cardiovascular system, etc. So,
Okay. Excuse me, Lucina. Can you come over just a minute, please?
Thank you.
Dr. Lisa, this is Lucina, and I'm going to ask her, where do you get your wheatgrass from?
Oh, Dr. Berg's. Dr. Eric Berg online.
oh, you can order it. Okay. Yeah, I love Dr. Berg.
Are you familiar with Dr. Berg?
Oh, yes.
Excellent. So is that okay? Is that a good product that you would recommend, Juanita?
I've learned a lot from him, yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, and we're trying to get things as local as we can. So if Lucina said she has to order it, that means that she has researched it. She researched it, and Lucina came from Mexico, and she became a U.S. citizen doing things the right way. So she had to get.
Thank you. Welcome.
So when it comes to shortcuts, like compromising for people's behavior or things like that, we don't do it. We can't. So
Yeah.
she says in 10 years, I'm going to feel so much better. And I said, let's say 5.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi.
Okay. So
Alrighty.
I got a question for Mr. Hope.
Do you?
Yes, Mr. Hope, I was telling Lucina about my jewelry, right? My necklace and my, the earrings are, I take them off at night to by my bed. And I was telling her about these EMFs that Ty made it. And I've got just a little one on my phone here. But I told her that Ty, and I hope you don't mind, I'm sure you don't, but I mentioned to Lucina that Ty made you a phone cover, protector, filter. How is that working? I haven't talked to Ty in a couple weeks.
Yeah, so
Lucina, listen.
Ty has a meter that measures the signals that come off of cell phones. And he was able to test with the devices that he made for me.
He's talking about the phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Juanita asked me about the devices that are made to help to block the harmful effects of cell phones and wireless signals, in general. And Ty, who's a friend of hers, made some devices for me. He was able to use some electronic equipment that shows that what he actually made did block some frequencies, the ones that are able to be measured by the device that he has. However, one of my issues is when I actually touch cell phones, I can actually feel the signal on them, and it's extremely painful, even damaging to my body. So I've got to limit, or many times I eliminated the use of phones. Matter of fact, I didn't even use cell phones until 2017, because my business was so active. I needed to have a phone so I can talk to people all the time, more so than I was doing. And but there's still a signal that comes through the devices that Ty made that I can still feel, and it's still very painful. So what I'm seeing is that his devices are able to pick up certain frequencies, but the one that's actually affecting maybe me, I don't know if others, is still coming through, and the device is simply not tuned to that frequency. So we want to, find out what the damaging frequency is and then block it from touching the individual. And I would say we've not achieved that yet, although he made a great number of strides and efforts to get it done. But for me, it does not work, not just yet. So we have more work to do in the right direction, though. And I've been I was trying to get in contact with him again to let him know this, and I wasn't able to reach him. But if you speak to him again, Juanita, maybe he can connect with me. We continue to work together, see if we can actually find an answer.
Thank you. I'm interested in this.
I can't hear you all very well.
You gotta be close to the microphone.
I said I'm interested on it because I am not as sensitive as you, but I know I am sensitive to it. So hopefully we will be able to get something that will protect from that.
Yeah, and another good thing is to, Juanita has a Kangen water machine there, I think. It's very good for detoxing the body. Juanita, you may have some of the Ukon that's available.
That I haven't done yet. I'm trying to figure out which way to go to keep my business going.
You could order it, if you want to give me a call, I can help you with it. But the Ukon is made of turmeric and combined with nutrients. And there was an individual in on the East Coast who was having some extreme sensitivity to wireless devices. And she said that helped her tremendously, taking the turmeric nutrient we call Ukon. And she bought 30 boxes of them. So she certainly got a good test result and is going for it. So that may help in the process. But certain detoxification, some sensitivities, or what might make your body more susceptible to the interaction with the frequencies from wireless devices could be metal in the body. Some people have metal tooth dental work, and that can leach off a residue that can get into the bloodstream and give the signal something to interact with, basically heating that up and damaging a cell. So you might want to change dentistry in the body, metal dentistry, try to detox any kind of chemical buildup that may be in the body. Be conscious of whether there are any kind of operations that were done that left metal in the body, that type of thing. And otherwise, we're going to try to find a way to block it for everybody. So I'm glad that you brought it up, Juanita. Try to connect with Ty, see if we can continue working diligently to get an answer.
I just texted him right now and asked him if he could talk.
Good. We're about to wind down the call. Any other questions? What's your name? I'm sorry.
Lucina?
Christina. Yeah, okay.
With an L. Lucina.
Oh, Lucina. Okay, good. Yeah, nice to meet you today.
Thank you.
Yeah. Dr. Singletary?
Yeah, I did want to say that calls number, we talked about cell phone radiation and cell phone, well, I should look exactly at what we talked about, but it was calls number 277, 278, and 279.
Oh, you can put links into the YouTube video of this call that we can click on those, or is that possible?
Well, in the call topics, yes, of course it's possible. It's possible. But they're in the call topics log.
Yeah.
So that, and the whole log is in the call resources. But 277 was cell phone radiation review. It was an overview of PubMed.gov review articles, of the titles of the articles. So that was like a 30,000 foot survey of the research. 278, cell phone health risks, a review. So I chose at least one of the articles. I don't remember exactly how many articles I used for that call, but it was effects during pregnancy, childhood, and effects on sperm of cell phones. And then call number 279 was reducing RFR exposure. And we talked about 5G technology and the risk of Bluetooth earbuds. So those would give you some background information on that. And that was April of
2019.
That as far the timeline for those articles, not articles, those calls.
Okay, awesome.
So,
and just the last question, Dr. Lisa, can you confirm about the sugar intake, the reports from 1970 I wrote down?
Your audio is distorted, Juanita.
Oh, it's me again, probably. But can you review that again about the sugar intake from the beginning?
I'll put that in the,
okay.
I'll put that article in the resources.
Great, that's it then, thank you.
You're welcome, Juanita.
Thank you.
All right, take care, Lucina.
Yeah,
So I didn't hear the last thing you said, Mr. Hope.
I said, take care, Lucina.
Oh, so nice.
Mhm.
So thank you everyone for joining us today on Kangen Water Radio, featuring the Kangen Water Health and Information International Call. We will be here on Wednesday on Dr. Lisa Health Zoom. And there's these, I will put the Zoom meeting ID, just like I put the meeting ID here, because I have to remember to do that. Some people have had trouble following or clicking on the link and getting into the Zoom somehow. Of course, someone had trouble actually using the meeting ID as well, but there's more than one way of skinning the cat. So we will put an alternative way of getting into the Zoom. But if you have questions and comments in the meantime, you can call or text us at 866-526-4368. That's US toll free 866-526-4368. Or you can email us at kwnation7@gmail.com. That's kwnation, the number 7@gmail.com. For the replay, please go to YouTube and in the search box, put Kangen Water Radio, and you will find our last, it's over 30 videos in there now. And if you go to the description box of any video that you look at, you'll find all of our call resources at your fingertips. All righty. Mr. Hope, last words.
Thank you all for joining our call today here at Kangen Water Radio, sponsored by Kangen Water Nation. And we're glad to see you again here on the Kangen Water Health Information Call. Take care, everyone.
Love you all.
Love you all. Good health too.
You look good, Mr. Hope. You you have the power. You
Thank
gotta
you.
turn us off.
All right. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Mwah.